Hey, this is Stacia, and I'm back with the final game from Parma. So at this point, I was sitting 2-0 and feeling pretty good. And now I had to face 14-year-old Wesley Lai. Beware of kids, right? They're often underrated. So he was rated something like 1460, but who knows? He might play like an 1800. Um, and he had white. So here we go. He played e4, e5, and knight c3. So I think this is called the Vienna. I guess I'll check the opening book. Yeah, the Vienna game. Knight to f6 and f4. The Vienna Gambit. Luckily, I know a couple moves against this. I know that if you take the pawn, you lose. I know that much. So, like, if that, e5, and there's no good square for the knight, we have to go back to g8. And then white plays knight to f3. I'm kind of surprised that the computer is saying this is okay. Like, only slightly better for white. I don't think it is. Okay, so in the game, I played d5, which is the best move. Takes and takes. Now, normally here, they go queen f3. That's the normal move I see. But there's also knight to f3 and d3. He played this, which I've never seen. So I took, because what else? And d4 was played. So, I mean, if I don't take en passant, then I'm allowing white to get a really nice center. So I thought maybe I should just take it, and I did. And he took with a queen. I actually expect him to take with a bishop, which I thought was better. Computer says queen is best. Okay. But it already likes black. Yeah, and here, I mean, the problem is when people play offbeat stuff, it's like I'm not familiar with it and I have to just navigate it already, and it's going to make my clock tick more. Like, is this check beneficial? Like, after g3, I don't really have any prospects for the queen. And is g3 useful? Because white's probably going to go that way. So I actually ruled that out, but that is the best move according to the computer. It likes this, and after g3, it just gives queen e7. Okay. I also thought about, queen e7 here because it does attack the pawn. If queen e7, I thought he would probably just go, like knight f3. And if knight f3 and we pin, I thought he would just unpin. Maybe that doesn't work, actually. Like, I could take now if I want. But I take this with check. That's the good thing. Wow, king d1 wins for white. Oh, look at that move. I didn't see this during the game. That is threatening to win my queen, and that is threatening to win my rook. So, don't fall for that. Okay. Although my instincts are to develop and not take things, so. All right, so in the game, instead, I took the queen. I'm like, hey, whatever. He'll take with the bishop and I can play against this pawn, or he'll take with the pawn, and that makes this check a little more viable. So I did check here and played knight to c6, guarding my bishop. If he does take it, I'm threatening a fork, so it's kind of annoying. Okay, he castled. I see the computer doesn't like that move. Now, in hindsight, because I did analyze this game with my coach already, I made some pretty basic errors that I would like to remedy. Yeah, like this move. National Master Michael Jolson said, play bishop to f5. I thought that would be the top computer move, but it isn't. So why not? I mean, he was saying attack the pawn, you know? Attack the pawn. If the pawn moves, we take it. Pretty sure. Oh, maybe we can't take it, actually. And if we take the bishop first, the rook guards it. Still looks awkward for white, but okay. So here the computer just wants to do this. It says black's a little bit better. Okay, but I played this one. I see the computer doesn't like it. Instead, I should have taken the bishop. And after king takes, it likes bishop e6, attacking this pawn. And if a3, we take this pawn. Okay, why didn't white defend the pawn? Oh, check it out, because this comes with tempo. They don't have time to play d4, and d4 is not protected. Yeah, they just lose a pawn here. That's why the computer likes it. Yeah, so I need to get more proficient at winning pawns. And it's a flaw in my mindset, to be honest. I'm usually not concerned about winning pawns. I'm concerned about giving away pawns. That's how I play usually, for real. So I think I need to be more versatile and be like, okay, let's just try to win a pawn and really focus on it. I think maybe I could find some of these moves if I had done that. Instead, I was focused on development. So in the game, bishop to g4 attacking the rook. I figured I'm developing with tempo. Now, he should have went knight f3, which is what I thought. But he played that. And I castled. Again, a blunder. So I'm assuming it's a blunder because I can win a pawn. So let's look at it. How do I win a pawn here? Not totally sure. If we take and take, now castle. This is different. It says rook e4 for white. So am I going to win a pawn or not? It says bishop d5, attack the rook. Rook e1. Rook h6. Huh. Alright, I guess not, but this is apparently really good for black. And it has to do with the lack of development, I'm sure. Black is getting totally coordinated now. And we're tying down the bishop because otherwise we take. It's kind of interesting. All right, in the actual game, I guess I still don't understand this position. Oops, sorry. In the actual game, he went, or I castled, and he played a3. Now, he should take this, it says, and then play rook e4. That does look annoying. I would have to play check. And then here, that's the only defense. Wow, that's, talk about barely hanging on. Like, that's a pretty nasty fork that I did miss. So that's probably part of the reason bishop g4 is not correct. But here, a3 allows me to take, and then I just simply brought my rook to the center because I've got good development and I've got better pawn structure, and I just want to try to win one of these pawns. If I do that, I think I'm much better. So he kicked my bishop and went knight to f3, guarding this. Yeah, and I jumped in. I thought this was a good move during the game. Turns out it's a mistake. So the actual right move is, this is what Michael Jolson said too. Rook to d5. Attack the pawn. It's attacked 3 times. Okay, try to defend it again. I dare you. If you try this move, that's attacked twice. So that doesn't work. I take it. So if you can't play d4, how do you defend the pawn? Yeah, the only answer is to counterattack with g4. And after, let's see. I could do this. It says e6. So the computer understands that they're losing the pawn, so they're pushing it. Huh. I guess that's why the computer liked this move. Bishop d7. And now it wants g5. What? So I would take the pawn. Can I not take it? I don't really understand g5. Okay, if I take it, what happens? It says rook takes e5. I mean, this is better for black. So let's be clear about that. But it says only minus 1.5. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so knight d4 was apparently a mistake. He can take it, which he did. I went here. I was thinking about piling up on d3. It didn't occur to me to try to win e5. Okay, so he went there and I went there. Okay, rook to e3, defending the pawn. I mean, I do have really nice pressure here, but my bishop might get chased around with g4. And also, it's not clear how to proceed now. So I needed to come up with a plan here, and I did, but apparently it wasn't the best. Oh, I just saw it pop up on the engine. Okay, it's fine. The move b5. So my idea was I want to go here and here. And if I need help, the queen could come to b6, or the king. So I want to do that and then check and then takes, and then win the pawn because the queen will be deflected. So he went b4, king up. Now the bishop's activating. Now the sad part about this that I didn't know during the game is that rook f1 can be an annoying threat in some lines because my bishop can be chased more than I thought. And you'll see what I'm saying in 1 second. Yep, here and h4. Yeah, it turns out because of h4, I need to go to this square and just blockade the pawn. It's a pretty good bishop too, you know? Like, it kind of freezes these pawns a little bit. And yeah, I think this is a better approach. I like that better in hindsight. But after h4, I was like, uh-oh. Because I have to go here. He goes here. Now this is hanging rook f1. And I saw this whole line and I instantly played d7, which is a blunder. Yeah, so if you guys want a tip from someone that's getting better at chess, hopefully, sometimes when I calculate things now and I calculate it and they do the exact line that I saw, I feel like internally I get like overconfident or something. I'm like, oh, I saw this. I was going to play rook d7 here, boom. And I don't think about it when the moment comes. And I just play the move instantly. But guess what? I'm not a grandmaster. My calculations are often wrong, and I should double check them every single move. Yeah, because my rook is overworked and underpaid, just like me. So white has rook takes f7. And that's a bummer, right? I can't really take, or they take my rook. And white just won a pretty critical pawn. This is a passed pawn now. I think white's pretty much close to winning now. But my opponent didn't see it. He played this move instead. And he thought a long time here too, I'm pretty sure. Now, this is a pretty good move too. It says it's winning for white. So things have changed. Yeah, where did things go wrong? Yeah, right here. I had to see this whole continuation with h4, h6, h5, bishop here, and rook f1 attacking the pawn. Then I also had to see that I can't defend it with rook g7. But I didn't see any of that, which is why I played bishop g6. So I needed to play here. Safer move, solid, blockades the e5 pawn. My bishop's actually good here. Yeah, this is much better. And then he should go bishop f3, and it's a game from here, but black's slightly better. I didn't want to relinquish the pressure I had on the pawn. I'll admit, I like that pressure. So in the game, rook d8, e6, I mean, I have to take that. If I don't take it, then what am I doing? So I took it, check. And now the big question I had was, can I block with a pawn? It's desirable, but you have to worry about that. So I did do it with the idea that if here, I would go here. And that looked pretty good to me. So, rook over, king c7. So I came up with an elaborate plan here that I'm kind of proud of. Is it best or even good? I have no idea. But at least I'm coming up with stuff. Whether it's good or not, I'll worry about that later. My idea was to step out of the pin and play a5. And I realized that I don't need my king there because if takes, I have rook a4. And that would fork the two pawns. So I thought that was kind of cool. And after that, you know, my rook might be invasive over there. So this kind of happens. King c7, he went back, because what else? a5. Okay, the computer gives it as the top engine move. So I'm feeling pretty happy right now. This is the best move. Now he did take in the game, and I got to play rook a4. And he went rook to a1. So take the a5 pawn, right? Oh, I didn't do that. I threw in a check. Yeah, maybe the check isn't best. But as you might have expected, I was getting low on time. But so was my opponent. In fact, he was a little lower than me. I want to say that I was like 7 minutes here or 5 minutes, and he was more like 3 or 2. He went here. I should take the pawn. He took there. Defend my rook with my king. Yeah, and rook b1 is a huge mistake. And I'm sure if my opponent wasn't in time pressure, I don't think he would have played this move. But of course, I played rook b5 check, which is a skewer. King must move out of the way to reveal the undefended rook. And like I tell my students, always take free pieces. So I did. Rook e6. Of course, I still have to convert. But yeah, rook e6 was a very nice gesture by my opponent because bishop g8, and he just stumbled into all sorts of basic tactics, unfortunately for him. So I think in this position, Yeah, maybe right about here he resigned. So I actually did take all three at Parma. That was the first time I've done that. I also did something different. I didn't sip wine the first two games. So maybe I shouldn't sip wine while I play chess. Who knew? I might try that again. We'll see. Sometimes I'm too tired to not try that. 'Cause I'm 42 years old. So if I have to work all day and play the game of my life, like that's asking for a lot. Um, but I'm certainly trying and enjoying this whole journey. So I hope you enjoyed the games these last 3 days, and I'll be back with more chess. All right, thanks so much. Bye.